Yo, 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 it's your boy Jamar, Top Shelf Sports Talk. Back on a Saturday morning with a Saturday episode. I'm going to say episode 1 of the Top Shelf Sports Talk podcast uh, show. So, on this show today, we'll be talking about some of the sports headlines of the day concerning our Philadelphia teams. We recently just saw the NFL, NFL pass the Tush Push. You know, shout out to the NFL or the NFL teams. We had 22 out of 24 teams or 24 votes needed. They only had 22. So shout out to that. I heard Jeffrey Lurie went hard in that meeting. I heard Jason Kelsey went hard in that meeting. Pause. At the end of the day, man, it's a play that you can't stop. And most of the time, when people can't stop something, they want to get rid of it because it feels like it's an unfair advantage to their team because they can't stop it, and either first downs or touchdowns are getting converted on them, and there's nothing they could do. How about this? How about this for a thought process? How about not putting your team in that position, period, to have the touch push called on them? Meaning play better defense on first and second down. So there's not a third and one, fourth and one, fourth and goal, third and goal. Now I'll be the biggest proponent on there saying that I don't really care for the touch push like that. I don't care for how often it was called by the Eagles. Sometimes I think it's a disservice to like your running backs or your receivers or whoever gets you down in that position to have that play called. Now I'm all for it on a fourth and one or fourth and goal. I'm all for it then, but it's disheartening to see like a Saquon Barkley uh, run, you know, 90 or 70 yards and get to first and goal, and then they tush push it all the way through, or tush or fourth and goal or third and goal, and then they tush push. Um, it's disheartening, and I know he's a team player. He doesn't really care about it. He doesn't care about the stats or the touchdowns as long as we come out with the victory. But at some point, you want to say to yourself as a player, like, damn, like I got us down to that point. I wanted to see that be converted, by me into a touchdown because I worked hard to get us down there. I ran, 70 something yards, 50 something yards, whatever it was to get to this point, only for it to be given to Jalen Hurts in a tush push. Which again, like I said, he's not a selfish player. He does not care. This is me saying that I think that it should be different, and I think that he should get the ball in those positions because he worked his butt off to get us down there. Other people might disagree. Other people might feel a different way about it, but that's just me. That's just my thought process. But obviously the tush push is here to stay. Shout out to like I said, shout out to the NFL for not banning a play that the other teams can't stop. Green Bay, Frankie Louvu, step your game up. It's just that simple. Step your game up. Get better. Get better. Put your team in better positions not to be having that play called on you. Or get your defensive line to get lower. Have them lay on the ground. Whatever you got to do. Push them. I don't think that's legal, but push them. You know? At the end of the day, you can't be mad at us for perfecting a play that you can't stop. It's just that simple. You can't be mad at us for perfecting a play that you cannot stop. It is what it is. Sorry to say, guys. It is what it is. You can't stop it. You're mad at it, and you want somebody to take it out of the game. What's his name? The coach for the Rams, Sean McVay, or the new head coach for the Chicago Bears. Like y'all don't agree with it. Y'all don't think it's a good play. Y'all don't think it's a football play. Again, if your team can't stop it, there's no reason to hate on it. And then here's the question. Here's the question, especially for you other sports team fans out there. If your team could do that play and do it at the clip or the rate that we do it, would this be an issue? Or if your team can stop it, would this be an issue? Would we sit here and would we be even trying to bring it up to the league to ban it if your team can stop it or if your team can do it at a high level. Because several teams have tried it over the last 2 years. Several teams have tried to do it, and they couldn't. So the question is, if your team could do it, would it be different for you? Would you look at the play differently? Would you say, oh, it's cool, like it's a football play because your team can do it? Would you say that then? Not because that your team can't stop it, and you're like, oh, because we can't stop it, we want it gone, or it's not an exciting play, it's not a football play. But at the end of the day, if your team could do it the way the Eagles did it, would you feel that same way? Me personally, I think a lot of you teams, a lot of you fans look at the play a lot differently because y'all will say to yourself, we could do it. Nobody can stop us neither, so we're gonna keep doing it. And that's the way I truly believe that goes. Like, but you know the one thing about like Eagles organization, Eagles fans, you very rarely hear us trying to ban something we can't stop. You know, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of plays over the years that you could say that like the effect that the tush push has on the field, but we don't complain. We just try to figure out a way to stop it. We get better. We build better. We draft better. We look at free agency different. So at the end of the day, for us, it's not about us hating on your play and wanting to stop your play or ban your play. It's us trying to say like we're gonna figure out a way to stop it. We're gonna figure out a way to get to the bottom of it so that it does not bother us. We do not care. It's like our old slogan: "You do not like us, and we do not care." That's how we feel about it. You know. So at the end of the day, instead of you teams getting so mad and wanting to ban the play, you head coaches and team owners and GMs and players get better. Simply get better. Now that's just my stance on it. Like I said, I'm not a over the top fan of the play because, like I said, I like rewarding my running back or my receiver or whoever else we can get involved in the offense on those particular plays when we calling them. Because at the end of the day, like if Saquon, if AJ Dillon and I think that the signing of AJ Dillon will prevent us from doing a play a lot because he's a big back. He's a big back. On some of those plays last year when we did the tush push, I think you hand off to AJ Dillon, boom, you're in for a touchdown. The combination, like let's get into that. Let's get into that. The combination of AJ Dillon, the combination of AJ Dillon and Saquon Barkley is going to be hell to pay for a lot of teams in the league that we play this year. We got a tough schedule, and we got a video coming up when we're gonna break down the 2025-2026 NFL schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles. But we got a tough schedule coming up. Our first 4 games against playoff teams. It's gonna be tough opening up against Dallas. And oh, you know what? I ain't listen. Somebody, if you hear the sound of of my voice and watching this video, somebody please help me understand why are the Dallas Cowboy fans so hyped at the fact of playing the Eagles on day one, opening week. My point is, and I have a Dallas fan I work with at work. My point is to him, you Dallas fans are looking at this as your Super Bowl. Because the fact that you guys haven't competed for a Super Bowl in 30 years makes it all the more bad that you guys are hyping this game up like it's a Super Bowl, NFC Championship, something meaningful. It's week one, game one of the NFL season. And here's the kicker, Cowboy fans. You guys are be on the field as the banner is being raised in our stadium for the 2024-2025 NFL Super Bowl champions. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to the fact that you guys will be watching the banner be raised in Lincoln Financial Field on a Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. And think about how half of you on your team wasn't born the last time a championship banner was raised in the Cowboy Stadium. Think about that. So before you go out and really talk about how, or really brag on how you're ready, or you couldn't wait, or you're glad that you got this game, think about the dynamics of it. Think about what you're getting ready to see on the field that night. Think about how you haven't, how most of your players haven't saw one raised in their lifetime. Now, a lot of you might not even be Cowboy fans that are on the team when you were coming up, but you're a Cowboy now. And your fan base is speaking for you. There's so many people out here making videos or made videos when that schedule release was that first game was put out there. So many Cowboy fans were so celebrating, like they're coming off the Super Bowl. You see that banner right there in the back of me. I'm sorry, I'm putting to the wrong direction. You see that banner? That came from last year from us. Last year from us, and most of you Cowboy fans that sit there and say, "Oh, we had injuries, we had this, we had that," and hey, listen, I'm not. You did. Dak went out. Dak got hurt. Big part of your offense. But the problem is, y'all hadn't addressed nothing on your offense really. You hadn't. You lost running back. You thought you was going to get Zeke and bring Zeke in, and Zeke was going to recreate that feeling that y'all had years ago when Zeke and Dak was really, tearing up the league. That didn't work out. And another thing, Micah Parsons. See, this is what I say about you Cowboy fans, how y'all open mouth and insert foot. Micah Parsons. Like how you're I guess you're golfing with your CeeDee Lamb and whoever else. I think I don't know if it was that rookie, but you sit there and you say there's no Guantanamo Bay. CeeDee Lamb's a hell of a receiver, hell of a receiver. But you saying dude, he like, and all right, you'll say, well, we had a backup quarterback when we played the Eagles, but you know, yeah, no excuses. You played the game, and he put the clamps on you. He put the clamps on you. But no Guantanamo Bay. This is what I'm talking about. And Michael Parsons, you were sitting there watching the last, I think, 3 years since Jalen Carter was drafted, in awe of what the Eagles have done in draft. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Um, you have been watching in awe about how the Eagles have been drafting over the years and wondering what is your organization doing to put you in a better position. Now here's the bonehead thing about you. You did not, when you were coming out as a draft pick in the draft, you denied the Eagles a visit. You didn't want to come visit the Eagles, and one of your reasons why is because you grew up or you played football in Penn State. And you were from the Philadelphia area, not the Philadelphia area, but the tri-state area, and you did not want a lot of your family and friends hitting you up for football tickets to come to the game. Understandable. Understandable. But here's what you did. You put yourself in a position to get drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, who owner and GM Jerry Jones only has the best interest of him at heart. Now, I tell my guy at work, I would sit here and say that Jerry really drafts pretty good. He finds some pretty good draft picks out there. His draft knowledge is pretty good. He does find some good draft players that turn around to be productive in the league for years to come, like Michael Parsons, you. But the problem is, Like I try to tell my guy at work, it's not all about the draft. It's about free agency. Now, here's the question: do you guys think that Derrick Henry would have transformed that organization? He was sitting out there the start of last year, well, before last year in free agency. He was out there. He was in Texas. He lives in Texas, and he was waiting for a phone call from Jerry Jones because he thought that was a great fit for him. And that would have, and I was actually scared because I didn't want to see Derrick Henry in a Cowboy uniform and have to worry about playing him twice a season. That's a lot. He's a heavy load. But instead of Jerry Jones making that call, he goes on interviews and say, if anybody wants to join the Dallas Cowboys, you call me. Oh, really? Really? So what does Derrick Henry do? Go to the Ravens. Ravens reach out, they get a deal done, they sign him. He's the second leading rusher in the league behind Saquon Barkley. I would say that was a miss for the Dallas Cowboys organization. I would say that was a miss. I would say that was a big miss, and that's the problem. You can't have that mentality when you're trying to build a team, especially when your team hasn't won in 30 years. Now you look at what GM Howie Roseman is doing. Everybody was upset at the trading of C.J. Gardner Johnson, and I was shocked too. I didn't see that coming. I didn't know. I didn't understand why. But like I always try to tell, I had a video out, and I try to tell people like people were up in arms, like nervous. Why did that happen? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? And I said, think about it like this. Think about it like this. Last year, talking about the 23-24 season, we no, not last year. Last year, the 23-24 season, we wound up trading away Hassan Reddick. 24-25 season, I'm sorry. Right before that season, we traded away Hassan Reddick. And look, and what happened? What happened? We won a Super Bowl. We went on and won a Super Bowl. So uncomfortable decisions have to be made at certain points in times in your organization. Uncomfortable decisions have to be made. We were all nervous about that move because the productivity of Hassan Reddick. Who are you going to get to reproduce that? 10+ sacks in each of the three or four seasons he was with us. Who are you going to get to? Who are you going to get to match that productivity? And we got Bryce Huff, which we thought was going to be the heir apparent, the replacement, because he on the Jets he was averaging 10 sacks a season. He wound up being dog water, as these young kids say. He wound up not showing up when we needed to. So but it gave guys like Nolan Smith chances to shine. BG injury gave Nolan Smith a chance to shine. So his productivity wasn't lost. It was disappointing that he didn't show up because we signed him to a deal in free agency. It was disappointing that he didn't show up. But at the end of the day, we had our young guys step up and play key parts in that Super Bowl run. And again, Hassan Reddick, we would have loved to have him a part of the team, but it didn't work out. He tried to bet on himself to go to the Jets and make it a prove it, like I'm still that. They didn't want to sign him or restructure his contract. He wound up coming playing on the last, like half of the season's last 7, 8 games or whatever it was, 6, 7 games. And the Jets at that point was pretty much a dumpster fire. Now he's got to prove it all over again, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But my question is, we lost Hassan Reddick, and we was nervous, and we won a Super Bowl. We lost CJGJ and drafted Andrew Makuba. Let's see what that translates to. Because if we win a Super Bowl off of that, then what are you guys going to say? Because here's the point of how he's done. First of all, he's not only created 20 something draft picks, including this year over the next 2 years, but he's created an atmosphere or his organization to be in position to make big signings as far as the guys that we got to lock up: Jalen Carter, um, um, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith. You know, all those guys that we're going to have to lock up next year. He's in position to do because he's got a lot of young players that he's drafted, and then he went out and complimented them with some of the free agents that were out there. So that is my difference with the Cowboys organization versus the Eagles. The same organization that we that the same organization that Michael Parsons every year. You saw him last year. Look at this the Eagles organization and say, dang, how are they always in position to get some of these top tier players? And I get how you want to be confident in your team and your teammates and the ability they have on the field. But real got to recognize reals because here's the thing: like you go out there and like I try to tell my guy at work, you go out there and you say things in the media or to be videotaped and then put out there in the world about Quantanamo Bay or for instance their offensive lineman saying he's the Jalen Carter stopper and all this nonsense that you put out there. Now you got to go out there in the field and you got to back it up and live it. Because as soon as this is what's going to happen. As soon as, let's just say, Quinyon Mitchell locks up CeeDee Lamb, 2 catches, 3 catches for 50 yards, no touchdowns. Let's just say that goes. Let's just say that goes down. Hypothetically speaking, let's just say that happens. You know the first thing they're going and say the Eagles win. You know the first thing they're going to do when it comes to that. When it comes to that after that game, the first thing they're going to do is go right back to that clip. What happened to we no Guantanamo Bay? What happened? CeeDee Lamb was a non-factor in this game, and y'all lost the game. What happened? Jalen Carter had 3 sacks against Booker, the Jalen Carter stopper. What happened? What's the deal? Like what's different? And the thing is, they're gonna have to answer that. And I can guarantee you, they're just gonna get a politically correct, acceptable answer at a press conference. We had a bad game. Let's move on. We're looking forward to the future. See, but here's the thing: if it worked in their favor, after the game in the press conference, they're gonna sit there and say, "Yeah, we told y'all this was gonna happen. We told y'all that wasn't gonna happen. We told y'all Guantanamo Bay. We told y'all Booker was gonna stop Jalen Carter. We told y'all that." But why is the energy never reciprocated when it's on the other foot? Why if we go out and do what we said we do? Because nobody's really talking trash on our team. There's really no reason for us to do it. We won the Super Bowl. There's no reason for us to go out and say something about Michael Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. Even though Dak Prescott, that's another dumb comment that team made. Oh, we get the best of them in the regular season. We get the best of the NFC East in the regular season. We look at our record. But yeah, I can't really say that because look who's holding up the trophy at the end of the year. Right, dummy? Right, dummy? That's why you don't do it. That's why you just say, oh no, shout out to the Eagles. They won the Super Bowl. They were the best team. Boom, move on. Jalen Carter stopper. They didn't ask you about Jalen Carter. But who are you looking forward to playing against in NFC East? Anybody. Anybody I line up against, I'm ready to play. I'm ready to make my impact on the game. I'm ready to help my team win. Boom. No pressure. Michael Parsons. I don't know. Quintano Bay is a nice young player. He's had a great year. You know, we look forward to our matchup with CeeDee Lamb versus him. See what that matchup can do. Um, and leave it at that. But for you guys to go out and put pressure on yourself like that, for you guys to go out and say all the things that y'all been saying and your fan base, it's putting a lot of pressure on your team and organization to perform. And while y'all just picked up George Pickens and you know a couple other players, Miles Sanders, y'all had you know a pretty good offseason, a pretty good draft. You have to make sure that translate into the field because we know George Pickens to be a head case. That's why he's not no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. We know him to want to you know be a diva, you know, and act out when he's not getting his way. So good luck to you guys when it comes to that because here's the thing: you got CeeDee Lamb over there. You got CeeDee Lamb over there. Is it like I say? He's a damn good receiver. CeeDee Lamb's gonna want that ball. He's gonna want his touches, his targets, his yardage. And if George Pickens is not getting his way because CeeDee Lamb is getting his, how's that gonna look come closer to the end of the season? How's it gonna look? You got you know like George Pickens could be a heck of a talent, and maybe sometimes people need a second chance or a breath of fresh air when it comes to playing in this league. Maybe Pittsburgh just wasn't the good fit for him. Maybe he believed that Pittsburgh just wasn't it for him, and maybe going to Dallas, maybe he will take that back seat or play the number two receiver. But he's looking for a deal after this, so he's going to need his numbers. He, he's going to need his targets. He's going to need his catches. And if he's not getting him, what is he going to do when it comes to that organization? How is he going to respond? What is he going to say? Is he going to make trouble for that organization? That is all the questions that y'all got to worry about. Instead of worrying about the Eagles and what the Eagles are doing and who the Eagles got, how the Eagles look, what players doing what, Jalen Carter, you know, Quintana Bay, Saquon Barkley, whatever the case may be. Instead of y'all putting y'all worries on that, worry about your team. Worry about making sure your team performs when it comes to time on that week one, September 4th, Thursday night. Make sure your team is ready to play ball. Because if they're not ready to play ball, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be pressure on the Cowboys for the rest of the year. Especially every time the Eagles play the Cowboys because y'all have been talking about the Eagles and we have not said anything about you guys or you Cowboy fans or you Cowboy players. So that is the thing that you need to worry about. You know, don't worry about what we doing. Don't worry about who we got. Don't worry about what we going to get. Don't worry about none of that. Worry about your team. You know that's the point blank period. Bottom line. So at the end of the day, man, and you know, this is week one. Well, this is episode one of Top Shelf Sports Talk um, podcast. Just talking about the Tush Push, the fact that the Tush Push has survived the ban of from the league. They had 22 votes. They needed 24, so the Tush Push survives. And just to look into the the the, the two teams of the Eagles and Cowboys and how the Cowboys have to worry about what the Cowboys got to worry about, and so do the Eagles. But the Eagles haven't stirred up any issues or comments or question marks about the Cowboys like the Cowboys have done the Eagles. So that that were the two talking points for today. I appreciate it if I appreciate anybody who pays attention to this video, watches this video, shares the video out. It helps me out. I've been doing this for the last 2 years, 2.5 years now. I'm going to keep going, keep getting better, keep releasing videos. I'm going to try to do release videos every Sunday in my time slot at 11 a.m. when I usually go live. until the season starts, and then I'll adjust the schedule then. But be on the lookout. Follow my pages, my YouTube Top Shelf Sports Talk, my TikTok Top Shelf Sports Talk 1, Facebook Top Shelf Sports Talk, Twitch Top Shelf Sports Talk 1. Please drop a follow on all those pages, all my Instagram Top Shelf Sports Talk. Please drop a follow on all those socials. And again, I appreciate everybody who takes the time to share and like and watch this video. It's your boy Jamar, Top Shelf Sports Talk. Peace.